Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Debussy recordings. Oh, there are so many. I mean, Debussy was just incredible, especially in the field of piano music. However, we have to make the tough choices. That's the name of the game, and tough choices I shall make. So are you ready? Here we go. Piano Works. Now, you can do these either as an album in a clump, or you can do them individual discs, or however you want to do them. But I chose to do them in a little boxy with Arturo Benedetti Michelangeli on Deutsche Grammophon. Oh, these are so perfect. It's depressing. It really is. I was learning Children's Corner, as I've recounted before, and doing really well with Dr. Gratis ad Parnassum, Jimbo's Lullaby, and Gollywog's Cakewalk, which was driving my family crazy, even my dog. You know, da 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 bum bum. You know, David, shut up! Stop that racket! That's not part of the piece, but that's how I always hear it at that moment. Anyway, I thought I was doing really well. Then I bought the record with Michelangeli, and I realized that I was never going to be a pianist. Well, I mean, I was never going to be a pianist anyway. I just wanted to learn this stuff for my own pleasure. But even my own pleasure was greatly diminished. I could get much more pleasure listening to him do it. He makes the piano sound like something without hammers, something. It's amazing, just the weighting of his chords. I can't even begin to describe it. You have to listen to it. Amazing, amazing, amazing performances from a stunning and enigmatic pianist. Next, the Image for Orchestra, the orchestral imagey things. Oh, yeah, Boulez Cleveland Orchestra on Sony. Now, this was made early in Boulez's career as a conductor, or early-ish. He was promoted and discovered by George Sell, who basically told that orchestra that they were supposed to play as well for Boulez as they played for him, no matter what. And they did. That was the thing, because, you know, Boulez's recordings with like the BBC Symphony and some other orchestras, his earlier ones, were interesting because it was all like Second Viennese school and music no one wants to listen to. But they weren't fabulous from a conducting point of view, for the most part. This is fabulous from every point of view, largely because, Boulez just had a phenomenal ear. He really did, an incredible ear for texture. And the orchestra plays with such phenomenal balance and finesse. Ironically, he re-recorded the Image for Deutsche Grammophon, and it wasn't quite as good. And I think that had to do more with the engineering, with the sonics, than with the actual interpretations. Although there, too, Boulez mellowed. He was a little less analytical. But what makes these performances so amazing is that incredible chamber music-like clarity and the phenomenal rhythm and accent that he brings to these pieces. It's just that the orchestra brought to the pieces. Who knows? It was a true collaboration. Just an amazing record and gloriously recorded. So that's definitely one of the greatest Debussy recordings. Then we've got Pelléas and Mélisande. Oh, yes, the opera about absolutely nothing. You know, and Mélisande, she's a princess. She thinks she lost her crown. She doesn't know where she's from. She doesn't know what she's doing. She gets married. She doesn't know why she's married. She doesn't. It's just wonderful. And it can be a colossal bore, or it can be absolutely glorious. Now, there is a reference recording, which is not on this list, of course. That's the Desormières World War II recording in very limited sound, but it's amazing for the cast and the singing. But my choice for the greatest Debussy recording ever, because you got to really hear everything, is Karajan with Richard Stillwell, Frederica von Stade, or von Stade, or whatever they call her this week, Joseph Van Damme as Golod. Just a great, great cast that Karajan was not able to ruin. And Karajan's own performance, his own playing of the score, is just amazing because he was such a chord guy. And this is chord music. It is so beautiful and diaphanous and sensitive and exciting. And at the big climax, it's powerful. I mean, the murder of Pelléas is terrifying. It's just a tremendous performance from all concerned. It doesn't get all that much attention because the opera itself doesn't get all that much attention. It's such a unique organism. It's one of the few operas I ever walked out of, actually, at the Met production, which was just so ugly. The music is so beautiful, and it's also, mysterious and shimmery. And you got to have a production that creates that distanced fairy tale atmosphere as if you're watching the whole thing through gauze, But no, this was a production that looked like it was done in, the ruins of a construction site. And I just couldn't stand to look at it after 2 acts. I said, ugh. I mean, it's just ruining the whole experience for me. I mean, the scene in the, where she drops her ring in the well. There was no well. There was a hole in the floor. It was just terrible. Like the sewer. It was just, it's a fairy tale. However bizarre the staging, it has to have that fairy tale phantasmagoric aspect. The castle of Allemande, whatever the kingdom is not an abandoned building, an abandoned warehouse where you would shoot a Doctor Who episode. I expected the Daleks to come trampling on at any moment. Anyway, never mind. The Karajan Pelléas is incredible. Next, the late sonatas. Cello sonata, violin sonata, flute and harp sonata, Syrinx for solo flute, the Boston Symphony Chamber Players on Deutsche Grammophon, one of the great Debussy discs in the history of Debussy-ocity. Without a doubt, it is so exquisitely played, so gloriously recorded, and it goes to show. I mean, it's not just that these aren't fabulous players; they are. I mean, Dorian Anthony Dwyer was an amazing flutist. Joseph Silverstein was an amazing violinist. They were all great, but you don't need to have name people all the time doing everything to get the best performances. You really don't. But what you do need is fabulous players. All of them are soloist quality players. They just happen to be playing in an orchestra. And really smart programming. I mean, it's just a wonderful program. It takes care of all of your late Debussy chamber music needs in one fell swoop. I mean, there have been other recordings of the same thing, of course. That's true, too. But one of the things that makes this so possible and so special is that because they aren't all big name soloists, you could have a Debussy disc rather than a soloist X disc that happened to include a Debussy sonata along with other bigger, larger things. There is a consistency of style, and you can listen to the whole thing all the way through and enjoy each one for its individuality, but within the parameters of Debussy's late style, which is just tremendous. So that's one. And last but not least, certainly not least, La Mer. Arturo Toscanini in the NBC Symphony on RCA, his last recording of the work. Remember that La Mer for Toscanini was modern music. Very modern music. He was in his 40s when Debussy wrote it. And he was a tireless champion of the piece. He diddled the orchestration a little bit here and there in small ways. Nothing major. And he was unbelievably dedicated to the piece. There is a rehearsal disc of him and rehearsing it. And he is, of course, screaming at everybody. But in the first movement, after the first big paragraph, when the orchestra goes, cha, 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 trumpets, da, 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 and then it just all dies down. When there's some suspended cymbal, before da da ba with the cellos, he is yelling at not yelling, but he's saying to the percussionist, "Don't you have other cymbals? Find another. That cymbal sound is all wrong." He really sweated the details, and the performance is thrilling. It's as exciting as can be, as flowing and natural as you could possibly ask for. It's very well recorded in mono, but you hear everything, and in quite reasonable sound. It's a phenomenal performance by a conductor who was in at the beginning. I mean, whose authority in the music is just unquestionable. And you really need to hear it before you go listen to the 100,000 other very fine recordings of La Mer. So there you have it, the 5 greatest Debussy recordings. I am very interested in your selection as well. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.